the commonalities between MDFT and the 12-step models are very much, I need help, essentially, in the most basic way. Need some help here. Can't do this by myself. I'm not an island. And the way that I've been living hasn't worked, and it's something has to change. So these are all very consistent things. Probably the second thing is, okay, there's lots of work here to do inside of myself, in the context of relationships, and in the world, leading a meaningful life. So those would be two things. And then the focus on self-care for both the person that's dealing with substance abuse and their loved ones. So self-care, the more that you take care of yourself, the greater your self-care practice is, the more you are able and present and available for everything in your life, including relationships. And sort of cleaning up the past, which would be in the 12-step models, amends, or what we would talk about in MDFT as healing past hurts and disappointments. So kind of cleaning up the past, dealing with what needs to be dealt with, dealing directly with it or not. It would be in both. It's not, in 12-step program doesn't say you always have to go to the person and beg for an apology, or sometimes that's not appropriate, and it says that in the literature. And in MDFT as well, we're not always telling kids or parents that an apology is necessary, but where appropriate, that you deal with what needs to be corrected and what can be healed and resolved. And then sort of in a big sense, in both 12-step programs and in MDFT, is what do I contribute to life? What here in the later steps of the 12-step model, it's essentially, how do I keep kind of looking at myself, examining myself and my life? How do I develop a bigger purpose? It might be a spiritual purpose. The 12-step model also, a big myth is that you have to believe in God. There's whole chapters in 12-step literature about you can believe in a doorknob, you can believe in a chair. It's that there's something beyond this little tiny world of me, and there are other people, and there's a big world out there, and there's a higher purpose, there's a higher, so it's not, so people can misunderstand that too. It's not necessarily you have to have this deep spiritual connection to have a long, sober, healthy life. And so the later stages of MDFT and also the 12-step program would be, all right, so we've done all this work, how do we take it into the world? How does this life become big and meaningful, and how does it become what I've dreamed that it could be, and beyond just the sort of pettiness of what we've been living, what this family's been.
So a teen could do MDFT and go to 12-step meetings, and a parent who's in recovery and is part of the 12-step community, they don't need to fear MDFT, right? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely not. They're a great complement to each other. So if you had I love that. If you have a family doing the work in MDFT, it's great. It's fantastic. A kid finds meetings that are strong and supportive for them. I think that's a real key, is that they have actually some probably some young adults that are helping and guiding, and a good strong group where there's, people know this, but good recovery, not a just a teen focused group where kids are kind of getting together to and going in and out. That's not the best. But if they can find a strong, solid recovery support, fantastic. There's nothing better than that. And the parent that's going to Al-Anon, again, strong Al-Anon, good group and sponsorship and a mentorship, then that makes self-care easier. They get it because it's just drilled into you over and over again. Take care of yourself, and deal directly with what needs to be dealt with, and then together, of course, along with everything you're doing in MDFT, that it just builds such a momentum where following treatment, when treatment's over, as we always say, in MDFT, we haven't been the medicine. It's the family that made the changes. It's not us. We're we've basically been shaping and guiding and focusing things, but it's not us therapists that have done the magical work, right? The families have done the transformational work. They've transformed. So when we finish treatment, we are thrilled. We say, this is fantastic. This is the start of your life. This is the start of your next chapter. And then sure, if they have a recovery network, the kid has meetings and sponsors and peers, and if the parents are in Al-Anon, that's just nothing but good. I mean, that just is really strong. So yeah, I would say in all these years I've never had it even remotely incompatible. It's very much complementary and it's really a great package if we can make it happen.